right. So we're going to talk today about the most key important thing that Christians believe about Jesus. That is, who is Jesus? Most important and simple way of saying it is he is fully God and fully human. This was discussed in a Christian church council in the 400s, and agreed upon that he's fully God and fully human. However, I would like to explain a little bit more deeply about how the church came to that conclusion. And the most important thing for Christians is, whether you're Orthodox or Catholic or Protestant, is what Jesus said about himself. And that's the biggest reason I believe the church came to that conclusion. So the place where Jesus talks about himself is the Gospels, the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And in those Gospels, they talk about Jesus' life, give eyewitness accounts, testimonies from different people. And Jesus explicitly taught this multiple times, that he was God. And this was kind of crazy, if not a bit, it was a bit strong. It was a bit, it was not hidden. And he didn't start out, he didn't, he kept it a secret for a little bit in the first maybe couple years or so of his ministry. He kept it a little bit of a secret, but he became more and more explicit near the end of his ministry, to the point that he was telling this to people in the temple, and they were trying to stone him for blasphemy. They were trying to kill him with stones. And he escaped a couple times. And eventually he even got crucified. He got officially executed by the Romans, slightly on a different charge, because they needed the Romans to kill him. But anyway, but the reason was that his own people turned him in, and his own people were the religious leaders who actually didn't like him. So there was a lot of people that liked him, but the religious leaders actually really wanted to kill him for a while, because he equated himself with God, and he said he essentially was God. All right, so how does he do that? What would he say? So one example is that he would refer to himself as the Son of Man, which is an interesting term, but it means he's human. That's one obvious thing it means. But he also referred to himself as the Son of God. He referred to God as his Father. And this, in their eyes, made him equivalent with God. And in fact, he did not deny that. He even went further, and he said, "Before Abraham was, I am." And that's recorded in the Gospel of John, and they tried to stone him for that. And part of it is because he's claiming pre-existence to their ancestor, and to his ancestor, because he's a human. He's claiming that he existed before the time of Abraham, and that he knew Abraham personally, apparently. And because they were saying, how do you know this? Like, you were not there when Abraham was there. And he said, before Abraham was, I am. So he was claiming pre-existence. Furthermore, he used the name I am, which is the word for God. It means Yahweh. And that was the word that God gave Moses. When Moses asked, "Who are you?" to God, God gave him the word I am. And that's Yahweh, or Jehovah. And no one uses that word unless they're talking to God. No one uses that and says, "That's who I am." So we know, but it also means I am. All right. So the Gospels are recorded in Greek, but we understand that that's probably the word he used, considering that they picked up stones to stone him immediately after that. But he said many, many things that made it sound like he was God and that he had authority. He did many miracles. He cast out demons, and also the demons referred to him as the Son of God, which he also tried to make them be quiet. In the beginning of his ministry, he did not want anyone to know, or the demons to know. He didn't want people to know and talk about that. And he talked about it with his disciples privately. But near the end of his ministry, before his crucifixion, he got more and more explicit. And that's how he died. They got really angry because it was, if you don't believe that he's God, then it is blasphemy. And for them, they didn't think it was possible that one could be human and God. And he never denied his humanity, and everyone knew about his humanity. people referred to him and as the son of Joseph because that was his adopted father. So they said, "Isn't that the son of Joseph the carpenter?" So that's how people knew him. Also, people referred to him as the son of David. They said, "Have mercy upon me, son of David." That's a more important knowledge about his lineage because the son of David was also important for someone to claim to be the Jewish Messiah. He had to come from the house of David because that was prophesied to David. And I'll talk about that in a different video about the Messiah. And the other thing is, how Christians believe this came to be is through the testimony, presumably, of the Virgin Mary, and it was recorded by the apostles Matthew and Luke. Actually, sorry, I called them apostles, but Luke is actually not officially an apostle. But they're both disciples and followers, and they wrote the Gospels, and they both recorded that the Virgin Mary was approached by an angel. The angel told her that she would miraculously conceive a child without a man, without knowing a man. That's I use the word knowing because that's the Hebrew word, but I think you know what I mean. And that God Himself would overshadow her, that the Holy Spirit, which is God, would overshadow her, and she would conceive a child. So it's miraculous, it's supernatural, and of course she probably suspected that He's actually divine, perhaps, but that's a whole nother story. But that's how Christians, that's one of the reasons why we understand his nature, is that his mother was fully human. He was conceived in a woman. However, it was miraculous, and so he biologically had no father. All right. So that's the main important thing to understand, is that Jesus is fully human and fully God. All right.